Now that Democratic nominee Graham Plattner has officially ended his campaign, the party is looking for someone to replace him. Democrats have less than 3 weeks to find a new candidate by July 27th. That's the deadline. In an emergency meeting yesterday, members voted in favor of a nominating convention process to select the new nominee. The date of the expedited convention has not been set just yet, but will reportedly feature 500 delegates from the state's counties. State Party Executive Director Devin Murphy Anderson spoke last night with Lawrence O'Donnell about what comes next.
The process that we have put in place to convene a nominating convention was voted on by those Maine Democrats. And that vote passed with over 82% of the vote, which is a full endorsement of the direction that we are taking to replace this nominee. We are, of course, going to require folks to talk to Maine voters in some way that's going to qualify them to be our U.S. Senate nominee beyond just declaring their intent. What that will most likely look like is petition collection from Maine Democratic voters across the state.
Let's go live to Bangor, Maine, and MS Now congressional reporter Kevin Fry. So, Kevin, talk about, first of all, the reaction you're seeing in Maine from Maine voters, and then I'd love to hear more analysis on the next steps here and how that's going to play out.
Yeah, I mean, the general sense from, for example, one voter I was talking to last night who I met the last time I was here a couple weeks ago, who was already kind of frustrated with the slew of stories that was coming out against Plattner, about Plattner's past, was finally, she texted me last night, finally we can turn the page on all of this and maybe get a nominee without so much baggage being the implication. At the same time, there is a nervousness amongst some voters, amongst some Democrats, that, of course, all of this chaos of the last couple weeks could spell trouble for their effort to finally unseat Susan Collins in November. That, of course, has been an ambition that's gone back 2 decades now for Democrats here in Maine. Nonetheless, one of the things that kind of stood out to me from Graham Plattner's remarks last night in that 11-minute video was how much he continued to lean into this message that this was the party going after him, trying to get him out of the way, and by inference, basically trying to eliminate the voices of those that supported him. Now, will all voters rally behind that sort of call? It doesn't seem that way. There have been plenty that I've spoken to over the last several days who have basically said, when I pressed them, like, if it's not Plattner, if it's someone else, even if it's not as, with the same platform that Plattner may have espoused, would you still vote for them or would you sit out? And they were essentially like, well, I'm still going to vote for the Democrat, of course. But if there are some folks, and we have found them here in Maine, who will still be susceptible to that argument that this is all about the Democratic Party trying to push Plattner out of the way, that he rallied against the party so much that they're trying to get rid of him, there are at least some voters that, at least that I've talked to over the last several days, where that will resonate with them. So will the messaging from last night have an implication? There's a possibility. The other thing, when you mentioned kind of the next steps here, they have about 18 days now to try to figure out who their nominee is going to be by that deadline. One of the things to keep an eye on, as you mentioned, is that over the next few days, we expect the various county parties to come up with their delegates. Will McDuffie and I, one of our other MS Now reporters, were told, as you mentioned, between 500 and 600 delegates. We don't know where that convention is going to take place or the exact timeline. But part of the argument from the party is that they're trying to be, as they phrase it, transparent. That is trying to, you can kind of read the tea leaves here, appease the Graham Plattner folks and also his supporters to suggest that they're not being pushed aside. So that is at least where we are today. We will be talking to more voters as the day proceeds to get a sense of kind of how the temperature is here on the ground, though. Willie?
In that video, Plattner saying categorically that the allegation against him, the most recent, is false, and that he believes this election where he won by 53 points with 72% of the vote is being taken from him by the Washington establishment. Congressional reporter for MS Now, Kevin Fry, reporting live for us from Bangor, Maine. Kevin, thanks so much.